I was lying in my own bed, surrounded by familiar belongings at Wormwood Abbey in the thin morning light, but I could not move one whit. My limbs were utterly lifeless, as if I'd been drained of all vitality. Yet there was something worse. A dreadful conviction gripped my mind that something, someone, lay beside me. I did not think the person wished me ill, but rather that they lay in dire need of my help, that, as helpless as I knew myself to be, they were yet more so. How long I remained in this state of extreme weakness, I could not tell. I only knew I could not disenchant myself. Like the sleeping princess in the woods, I awaited a rescuer. Then there came a stirring in the bedclothes and a feather-light touch on my face. A staccato bark sounded in my ear, and life rushed back into my limbs. Liberated, I scrambled out from the bedclothes and backed away from the bed. A sizable lump shifted under them. A familiar muzzle poked out from the counterpane. Shiny black eyes gazed at me questioningly. Frances. Slowly, I sat back down on the bed next to her, laying a hand on her to reassure us both. Finding myself truly awake and rational at last, I reflected on this strange episode. Though I had been able to look about with my eyes while the spell lasted, I had certainly been asleep. Faintly, I recalled legends of evil creatures that were supposed to have sat upon their victims, rendering them helpless during the night. I did not believe in such creatures, but it comforted me to think that other people had experienced the same frightening sensations. As I readied myself for the day, I could not rid myself of an impression of significance, as if I'd been reminded of something I needed to act upon. And then it hit me, with a horrible twist of pain in my bosom. Simon. He was a captive in the mountain fastness of Gwynedd, guarded by crossbow and sword. Could it somehow be he who had visited me, asking for my help, reproaching me for leaving him there? I shuddered. I could still taste the despair, pain, and helplessness, a bitter brew, to which I now added my own pungent self-accusation. I'm doing everything in my power to bring him home, I had told Forrester. But as yet, I'd found myself able to do nothing. Only a few days after stumbling home from my disastrous visit to Wales, I had taken a lantern and gone alone to the mouth of the cave, my feet still blistered from my desperate flight through the mountains. I was determined to retrieve some of the treasure that was hidden in them, so I could pay the scientist Janushek had told me about to make me an antidote to ransom Simon. I could ask no one to help me. If the danger was great for me, it was worse for everyone else, for at least I need not fear death by dragon poison. But a few mere steps inside, and I found myself shivering like a blancmange on a tea tray. I knew that any one of the featureless passageways before me might send me plummeting to my death. Any one of them might lead me into the jaws of a monstrous creature that had been trapped under the Yorkshire fells in an uncongenial climate for nearly 400 years, swallowing bovine offerings every full moon.